Welcome back to the Nutrimedical Report, and we always have the very best things to not only protect your health, but your home. It's a good combination, health and home. And we have John Bartlett from the Barricade Fire Gel, and also right here in California. You get to give us your full name and your business, because you're one of the distributors for Fire Gel. You also have your local company here in San Diego. Your full name and how they can get in contact with you.
Hello, Dr. Bill. My name is Bart Tuttle. I'm president of Poolside Fire Pumps in Poway, California, as well as the Southern California distributor for Barricade Fire Blocking Gel.
Great.
Our contact information is sales at poolsidefirepumps.com, and all of our information, contact, phone, and location and so forth are there on the website.
Yeah, so that's fullsizefirepumps.com, right?
Poolsidefirepumps.com, correct?
Full, F-U-L size.
Poolside. There you go.
Poolside. Yeah,
Poolside.
Pool, P-O-O-L.
Yes.
Poolside, okay. Poolsidefirepumps.com. Very good. So,
yes, sir.
How did you get involved and in this amazing, not only discovery, but way of people, preemptively protecting their home from the chain of fire?
Well, my background is I'm a general contractor, and I was involved in some of the 03 rebuilds in Scripps and the 07 rebuilds in Poway and Escondido after those two wildfires. Prompted me to kind of look into what's available out there regarding pre-treating the home. And by doing so, I came across John Bartlett with Barricade. And again, my background is equipment as well, and I've got some pumps which will empower your swimming pool water then to be the delivery system for Barricade Fire Blocking Gel. Uh-huh. And then also understanding the structure and the makeup. Again, the building materials, the vents, the skylights, your overhangs, your fascia board. Again, any of the Class A fuel load that exists on the home and around the home. How to use Barricade to temporarily inert that fuel load, which again falls in line with pre-treating the home, again, prior to evacuation. We don't condone anybody staying behind as far as fighting fire. We as citizens, we prepare for fire year-round. Firemen fight fire. So that's, again, with Barricade, it's a force multiplier, as well as it buys folks a lot of time in regards to, again, temporarily inerting their fuel load.
Exactly. Now, when you apply this, and you've had some real experience here, and we're going to have, unfortunately, probably some more experience shortly, the drought really hasn't been reversed. We have had some rains recently, but they're mainly up in the mountains around Palomar Mountain and Lake Henshaw, up in the mountains, too, a little further in toward Bear Mountain and the Sierras. But we're not getting a lot of local water here, are we?
Well, the delivery system for Barricade can be used either by what we refer to as a home kit, which is a 3/4-inch eductor or applicator that can be put on the end of the ordinary garden hose. That's about 3 to 4 gallon a minute flow rate. And then if one has a swimming pool or a holding tank or even drafting with a pump from one of those sources or a pond or even the ocean, again, creating flow and pressure then through a professional grade eductor for a fire hose, which would either be 1.5 or inch. That'll create, again, your vortex and pickup for the proper mix and pressures and flow rates. So Barricade can be applied in a lot of different applications, different ways, as well as even dropped from planes by some of our departments and municipalities out there, again, depending on where that is. But as far as the homeowner goes, there's a lot to offer, an understanding, again, of the home, what their vulnerability is, and where their fuel resides, and how to deal with that. And again, it's something as simple as a 3/4-inch garden hose with the home kit And again, if their awareness level is where they need to apply Barricade, again, top to bottom, rear to the front, your skylights starting up at the roof, what the makeup of your roof construction is. If it's tile, typically no need for application there. But again, the wood eaves and fascia and so on. And then even propane tanks. Again, doctor, this product...
Yeah, that's a big deal. Putting it over propane tanks, I've got 2 big ones, so that's going to be a favorite to make sure they're well, not only hosed down, but also rehydrated regularly to rehydrate that gel to keep it going for longer.
Correct. The gel itself, depending on your air temp and wind speed, it'll go ahead and stay fluid for up to 6 hours. And then the product would need to be rehydrated. It could be simple as the mist off of a garden hose or the mist off of a fire line coming off of one of my pumps. Again, is what it does. The polymers and surfactants kind of grab onto the water molecules, and then again you've reintroduced H2O to the formula, which now you've got your wall of water basically hanging on the side of your home. So with that being said, I think there's a lot to learn about Barricade, but yet it is simplistic for the average person. And
my simple application rules too.
Oh, absolutely. And again, knowing what to gel, what doesn't need gelled. Again, wood fences, anything that's tying into the side of the home, like a wood fence, wood out front with a gate on the side of the yard. Again, that material there, you want to make sure that you apply Barricade as well. So,
yeah, exactly. So now there's a number of different options. Of course, your company again is poolsidefirepumps.com, and of course we have the firegel.com for the parent company. There's advanced hoses that can be used with the fire department. There's 5-gallon jugs that can have a backpack that can carry the fire gel material. There's a number of different options. Can you discuss a couple of the things that allow you to do a different kind of application or a professional application by a fire department that may be able to get a better reach or spray in higher areas like trees? We have, for example, behind our house, we have 2 50-foot plus, Cook's pine trees. You want to make sure those trees are well gelled up, and obviously a fire hose is going to get considerably higher, or one of these high pressure, what do they call them? Those high pressure hoses that you can put on your normal hose line with a power pump. You can actually get really good distance with that. Can you apply those kind of technologies as well?
Absolutely, doctor. There's both the 1-gallon jug, which comes with the home kit, as well as with that 1-gallon jug, a professional-grade eductor or applicator, as some homeowners refer to it as. Can be used with either 1.5 inch or a 1-inch fire line. With the eductors applying somewhere between 15 and 30 GPM, you can manage that 1-gallon jug is probably going to go through the line at the nozzle inside of 30 seconds. So what Barricade has done is they've put together a 5-gallon tote. Yeah, this 5-gallon tote, again, dealing with one 5-gallon jug, versus changing out the 1-gallon jugs. And this is if you've got a larger property, horse corrals. Again, our products are fielded on homes that are upwards of 15,000 square feet. So time is of essence. So a force multiplier, having multiple application individuals as well as the 5-gallon tote, it speeds things up. So
yeah, amazing. How do they get in contact with you now? John at Barricade and Bart at Poolside Fire Pumps.
Yes, sir. .com.
Poolsidefirepumps.com, and of course firegel.com. Thank you, John Bartlett and Bart Tuttle. And we're going to, of course, visit our local fire department here shortly to make sure that they're up to speed. Back to the Nutrimedical report. And I think I've coined these new terms so people will start to kind of grasp how important they are. Confucius made a statement that by the time you're 40 years of age, whatever heritage you had from your parents, which they didn't understand genetics, although I think in more ancient times, much more ancient than ancient China, they did understand genetics. But Confucius said that by the time a man is 40 or a woman, that their countenance and how they move, etc., is all dependent on themselves. What food they eat, which is why food in countries like China is sacred, why exercise is so important. And now I call it vitamin VX, or vibrational exercise, vitamin IX, or infrared light therapy, which is a PROLINE infrared sauna to detox and really to burn off calories too. And then, of course, to talk about vitamin MX for magnetic field therapy. And we have a newer device we're looking at also, a newer energizer device available from China. We have the PROLINE, we have Soma Pulse, and we have other technologies. I can hear a lot of noise in the background, I guess, Ed, so we'll try to get a quieter place there. So, Ed, tell us about the Vibrational Superstore and why, for example, I don't feel right. My wife even said, why don't you give yourself a day off? I said, I don't feel right if I don't do this. It's like your body goes and says, why didn't you exercise? What's wrong with you? Even if you're sore, like I get a deep tissue massage to deal with areas where I'm really pushing it. But I'm fine now, and I think it's important. Your body says, great, you did it. You're building up range of motion, you're building up muscle strength and tensor strength around your shoulders and so on. You're building up the ability to burn off calories and to strengthen the spine and pop all the vertebrae back in place. When you do vibrational exercise, it does a number of things that no other exercise does. Number one, it releases growth hormone. It releases nitric oxide to open up your blood vessels along with technology like infrared sauna, but vibrational exercise releases NO, so it's a anti-hypertensive therapy. It improves microcirculation. It's the most powerful therapy for pumping your lymphatics and your circulation, your peripheral venous and arterial circulation. In other words, it stops venous and we call lymphatic stasis. It increases the proprioception or position sense, so you get better balance. So if you do proprioceptive exercise, balancing against resistance, you dramatically reduce the chances of an injury to a joint like a knee or elbow or shoulder if you're doing vibrational exercise against resistance. If you're looking at the volumetric actual weight loss that you get on a vibrational compared to any other form of exercise, and the actual change of your set point, you'll tend to find that people that do exercise on vibration, their actual set point where their body becomes comfortable at a lower weight stays. In other words, it sticks at the lower set point rather than many exercise programs. Otherwise, you'll slide back up pretty quickly to your previous weight. Not so with vibrational exercise. It actually does something to the brain and the set point mechanism. So, and then we look at infrared sauna. PROLINE infrared sauna is the only sauna in the world that has the lowest ELF or electrotoxin level from the carbon 360 elements. And infrared literally activates your stem cells, detoxes your body from toxic chemicals like bisphenol A, boosts the metabolic rate of your brown fat and white fat to burn off calories, and again raises nitric oxide up to 40% with just a half an hour a day. There's nothing like it. So if you take vitamin VX and vitamin IX, and of course I always recommend magnetic too with Soma Pulse and our new energizer that we're going to be posting up shortly, you really make a big difference, and you have to take supplements on top of a clean diet, a diet that's GMO-free, low glycemic index, no sugar, no aspartame, no Splenda, no genetically modified foods or foods that are allergenic. You're going to do well. So tell us all about vitamin VX and vitamin IX, I call them, because you got to take your vites every day.
Yep, thanks, Dr. Eagle. Yeah, the machines, like you said, the reason you feel bad not doing it the one day, it's imagine flooding your body with oxygen, opening up the blood vessels, getting that growth hormone through it, and your body gets used to that. It's anti-aging. It's getting toxins out. So if you miss it for a day or two, you will miss it.
Oh yeah, no, my body takes out the whip, says, you want to feel crappy all day, just don't do this. And I used to start off with like 1 or 2 minutes at the higher energy. I get the highest energy now. I do minimum 20 minutes, but mostly I do 30 to 60 minutes a day with a athletic bar and high energy we call exercise routine where I don't stop. I'm continuously we call circuit training with high energy resistance to body elastic bands while I'm assuming every kind of amazing repetitive activity like, push-ups with my perfect push-ups against the vibrational platform. And I do sets of 30. You do 30 push-ups and you're doing at 50 hertz. That's serious exercise. That's not mild exercise. That's full body.
Yeah.
That's serious exercise. And what I tell people is when you start doing this initially, your body's going to protest like crazy. But after a while, if you don't do it, your body's going to kick your butt. It's going to say, why? What stupid excuse have you got today? Have you got 10 minutes? And then pretty soon, have you got 20 minutes? And the body's going to say, don't you have 30 minutes for this?
Yeah, absolutely. We just got our new sauna in, and actually inspired by you, we have the trampoline inside the sauna for lymphatic drainage, which
Right.
also has the resistance bands, which you can hook up to the trampoline, and there's 5 spots on the wall. So you're actually
really
getting
cool.
the,
Yeah. So you can take resistance bands and attach it to. Yeah, so you use that to give you the purchase to use upper body and resistance against the chamber itself to push into the trampoline, so you get more activity, more control, more proprioception, more balance. That's really good.
Yeah, you're basically,
Wow.
I mean, in 8 to 12 minutes, you are drenched in sweat. And the sweat that's coming out, you're surrounded by EMF-free infrared. So normal sweat is 97% water, 3% toxins. Infrared is shaking the water molecules. It's penetrating 4 to 6 inches deep. You're pulling out toxins at a very deep cellular level.
Oh, yeah.
So that sweat is, you're more like 10 to 18% toxins coming out of that sweat. So it's just coming out in, the toxic sludge is coming out of your body. You're sweating. You're getting the toxins out. You feel euphoric after using this product.
I think you had
the
a
new
story.
sauna jump.
You had a story a few months ago about a gentleman who bought one of the infrared saunas, PROLINE, and his wife knew he was a smoker years ago and hadn't smoked, and she thought maybe he broke his thing, started smoking again because she went into the sauna and it smelled so much like cigarettes. It's like, you're smoking again. You lied to me. And of course he hadn't. It means the smoking toxins, the tar was still in his tissue, and when he went into the sauna, it started to pull it out. That's a bit scary, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And the body has a knack of kind of like not wanting you to worry about things. Because, oh, it's okay, I got things under control. And that's why some people, they get sick, and before you know it, they're like, hey, you got stage 3 or stage 4 with no symptoms whatsoever. So the body tries to handle it. So by having all that the smoke inside your body for 3-5 years later, it's still in there. It's still poisoning your body. You need to get those toxins out of the body.
That's why when I hear people say, my doctor this, my doctor that, and he'll give me a pill and say, well, he'll resurrect me from the dead. I said, not. You're responsible for taking care of the model called your body. You're your own health physician. If you walk into the bathroom in the morning, you're looking at your doctor. Your doctor says, if you don't exercise, VX, if you don't take the right nutraceuticals, NutriMeds, if you don't eat a clean diet, GMO-free, and if you're ever going to have chicken, make sure it's free-range or organic, otherwise you're going to get arsenic, because all of the non-organic chicken, their food is laced with arsenic. And I know I do. They get the blood test done on people every day, every week, and the QRMA testing, and they're laced with arsenic. Welcome back, and Ed, let's talk more about what these things do. When you do vibrational exercise, and if you go to the link that we have, the Vibrational Superstore, you get the ones that I particularly like are the 3000 and 5000 series, and what they do is they're able to generate triplanar trimotion, so they raise your metabolic rate. They're much more powerful and energetic than the regular vibrational machines. You can do it with the 1000 series, the VibraCore 1000, but the VibraCore 3000, 5000, I think, are what most people want for proprioception, metabolic detoxification, lymphatic pumping. And a lot of people don't realize that if you don't detoxify, you die. I'm always surprised at people when I went back and would think back through the years why people were surprised they got cancer or autoimmune diseases or developed inflammatory bowel diseases. It's because their health advisors, their health professionals, are untrained. They're ignorant. And the patients are ignorant, and they kept purposely ignorant so they don't realize they're eating toxic food. They're eating toxic water. They're living in a toxic environment, which are not reducing the electro pollution. They're not getting rid of bisphenol A and toxic chemicals out of their body. And then they wonder why did I get cancer? I was a good person. You were a good person, but you were an ignorant person. And ignorance is no defense against accidents, because really, I saw this in emergency, there's really only two types of things. There's what I call on purposes and accidents. 99.9% of everything that happens bad in this world isn't on purpose. It's driving too fast with no guardrail on the side of a mountain road. It's driving with, under the influence of no sleep or excess drugs or alcohol. It's hanging off the side of a building without a safety strap trying to do roofing and wondering why when the staging wasn't put together properly, why you fall to the ground and break your back. Those are not accidents. Those are on purposes. It's drinking water. It's not detoxing the chemicals you accumulate over a life of living in a very toxic world. It's not exercising when your body says, if you don't exercise me, I can't even translate the DNA to create new muscle, new bone tissue, new lymphatics. In fact, if you don't pump your lymphatics by muscular movement, because that's the pump that pumps your lymphatics, and vibration is the best way, so something really awful happens, and people will get wondering. Well, they shouldn't wonder. That's why if they listen to the program, I'm integrating what we call functional medicine with the best of medicine. And there's some good things in medicine, but by and large, medicine is pretty darn ignorant. And that includes, by the way, natural medicine. It doesn't understand biochemistry and physics and these other things that need to be integrated. You can't just take herbs or think you're taking something organic, and you may not be taking something healthy. So tell us more about these technologies, infrared sauna and vibrational. The research studies, and I pulled up a bunch of new literature on this, and it's amazing how these technologies used in people, not just older people in their mid-years or later years, but in teenagers that are toxic, in children, in pregnant mothers before they become pregnant to get the toxins out of their bodies so they have normal, healthy babies. It's really important to understand that if you don't take care of yourself, you don't have the epigenetic exercise and detoxification and nutrients supplement to turn on the right genes, you're not going to translate the genes to turn on and make a new you. Every day you're building a new you, and if that new you project and the scaffolding's not up, you're not going to do a very good job, are you? So tell us more about it, Ed.
Yeah, I mean, the world's just becoming more and more toxic. I mean, ideally, in my opinion, for the up and ups, if they can get the population down to about 1/3 of what it is right now, they'd be very happy about it. And it's really just going to be survival of the fittest. I mean, for those who aren't detoxifying, those who aren't keeping their body in shape, the weak ones are going to die off. I mean, we're getting bombarded with toxins in our water, in our air, in our food. It's just everywhere, and it just builds up in the body. And people that, my mother or my father, they never did this stuff. They never detoxified. They're fine. It was a different world back then. There's a lot more toxins. There's a lot more going on. So, I mean, you really need to just shovel those out on a daily basis. And the infrared sauna is the only known technology that can actually remobilize toxins and get them out of the body. Using the vibration machine, you're pumping the lymphatic system, you're moving the body, you're flooding it with oxygen and blood. So the two of these technologies together are phenomenal. You can go onto the bottom of your link there, or go to discountvibrations.com and read up on it. You always want to mention Dr. Bill if you do decide to get something, because we get significant discounts. But you want to read up on the saunas, you want to read up on the vibration machines, because, like you said, I mean, you don't know how good you can feel until you feel it. So when you like you said, you missed a vibration machine for a day, you felt it. Imagine never having it. You're depriving your.
I heard the best time to exercise, the two best times to exercise, the first thing in the morning and before supper. And the best time to use infrared sauna is before the supper meal. That's what I found from experience. Have you heard anything similar to that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're getting in there, you're pumping out the system. People, a lot of people that have sleep problems, they're using they use the vibration machine or the sauna before they go to bed, and they're getting phenomenal sleep. It's just something that's really kind of becoming mandatory in our society. I mean, we've talked about this many times. Over in China, where the toxic levels are horrendous. The last time I went to China, I was there for about 5 days, and I came back. I didn't wear a mask while I was there, but I came back, and for about 4 or 5 days, when I was coughing, I was actually coughing up black dust into my hands, and it took about a week for me to really detoxify and get that out of my body. And
that's why those people wear masks over there. They're not just being polite; they're trying to save their life.
Oh, Oh, absolutely. And I said, if I go, well, when I go back there again, I will have to go back. I don't care if I look like Darth Vader. I will have the biggest mask that I can buy.
Yeah, you want a NIOSH N95 mask, which we carry, by the way. The N100s are too much resistance, so you can't wear them very long before you start to collapse, especially if you don't have a high level of fitness.
Yeah, you'll be getting a call before my next trip there.
Yeah, the N95s are the ones, and you want to be able to have a bunch of them, so you, as a wearer, to get dirty, you just chuck them. So that's really important, especially with the bugs that are everywhere. I mean, in China, the H7N9 is the fastest replicating flu virus in history. We have, of course, the Ebola here now, which is dangerous. But if these flu bugs become much more mobile, because they're hundreds of times more easily transmitted, they'll kill a lot more people than Ebola, even if it's 45 to 90% case fatality, because it's harder to get it. It's harder to actually get a primary infection, unless you're really sloppy or have a lot of exposure. So that's what's going on. Now the infrared sauna is something that we tell people. For example, they did research at Mayo that they can reverse heart failure. We reverse blood pressure. We tell people take our nutraceuticals and start vibrational exercise and infrared sauna, and your blood pressure will normalize. Insulin resistance. We know that it drops insulin resistance and raises brown fat burning. So we tell people take our diabetoline, leptin metabolic, biotin plus, lipoflush, and get your infrared sauna. Per half hour, you're going to burn off about 700 calories. 700 calories just sitting in the sauna. That's pretty amazing. That's for an average smaller size female. A larger male, it can be 800, 900, 1,000 calories just sitting for half an hour in the infrared sauna. And that raises that metabolic rate for another 40 hours. So
yeah, I mean, just sitting in that sauna half an hour a day for up to 2 weeks. They've done studies where they've shown the nitric oxide levels go up as much as 40%, which is incredible.
Right,
that's going to dilate your blood vessels. So that's going to give you better blood circulation. That's where you can really heal problems. Well, you can't make any claims, but it should really be very helpful for people with coronary problems, blood circulation problems.
It unwinds your wound up a sympathetic nervous system too. When you start going infrared sauna and doing vibration, what you notice your body says, it feels more relaxed. The reason is when you don't have enough nitric oxide induction, your sympathetic nervous system is there trying to push the blood through to perfuse tissues because it has what's called a perfusion mechanism set up. So if you don't open up the blood vessels, you feel all wound up and tense. No wonder you can't sleep properly. No wonder your muscles are aching because they've got lactic acidosis because you don't have enough oxygen. No. That's what happens. When you start perfusing tissues with infrared sauna and with vibrational exercise, you get better. The number to contact is...
it's Discount Vibrations. And if you have any questions, call me at 1-800-975-6981.
Well, we still have Ed here, and I'm going to expand this to some other areas of combining this with other technologies. We tried to contact today, and we're unable to get a hold of our mild hyperbaric oxygen guy, Bruce McKeeman from Hyperbaric Dives. And, we do have Bruce. Okay, sorry. So we'll continue with Bruce in a second here. But, Ed, just before we close, I want people to get that number again, how they can contact you, to get more information on the Vibrational Superstore and on the infrared sauna. This is really important that people understand that if you're wanting to do functional anti-aging, it's not just a matter of waiting and say till 2024, 10 years from now, where they have a gene they can throw into your body. You need to have the right stimuli. In fact, the Space Agency in Russia discovered that without gravity, you can't even generate growth hormone. You can't generate the piezoelectric crystal microcurrents to actually generate bone regeneration or growth. You can't pump your lymphatics unless you have vibrational exercise or any kind of exercise. And that's what's really important. A lot of people think, well, lymphatics aren't important. Yes, they are, because if you get in the extracellular space toxins build up, the decayed bodies of pathogens, chunks of unstable DNA that's replicating in the extracellular space, antigenic particles from food, etc. If you don't flush those lymphatics, they're going to cause free radical levels to rise and break down the blood-brain barrier and jam intracellular communication. So vibrational exercise, I call VX and IX infrared. How do they contact you again?
Oh, sure, Dr. Bill. You can go right to the website, which is discountvibrations.com. It's also on the bottom. There's also a link on the bottom of your website, so they can go that way. Either way, make sure they mention your name for the discounts. And they can call me directly at 1-800-975-6981. Again, it's 1-800-975-6981.
Sounds great. We'll see you again next week, same time, from the middle to, the bottom of the second hour to the top of the third hour. And again, out there listening, get started on your VX and your IX, your vibrational exercise infrared therapy exercise, and your body will thank you, give you a big thumbs up, high five.
Great, thanks, Ed. Bill.
We'll talk next Wednesday. Now we're joined. I'm glad we can get a hold of Bruce. Bruce, you're a busy guy, and we've developed a very amazing technology. I managed to get in yesterday into my chamber for a full 2 hours, and I can tell you my body was detoxing like a crazy. When you get into a mild hyperbaric chamber, and again, I have the ability to augment the oxygen by some extra, so I get another 4 or 5%, which really does help. What does it do to the body? What's your experience, and what's the science behind it? What mild hyperbarics does in terms of perfusing tissues with oxygen, turning off inflammation, and actually we now know that mild hyperbarics actually activate your stem cells. It's a major activator of stem cells is mild hyperbaric oxygen.
Well, what we've found is that the circulation of good to the cells and bad away from the cells is critical. And first thing the hyperbaric does technically is reduce inflammation, opening up the pathways to get those fluids to the cells. The second it does is perfuse those fluids with oxygen. So now you're getting healing oxygen to the cells, especially in a damaged area where inflammation is basically shutting down all transmission of that fluid. So now that's opened up, you're getting oxygen to the cells, and you're getting more blood to the cells now because of the anti-inflammation, and it's able to pull those toxins away. And oxygen is also an just lost the word.
Anti-inflammatory.
The toxin.
It's a detoxifier,
It attacks free radicals and attacks toxins. So now you have this combined 1-2 punch of greater flow, greater oxygen, which results in greater healing, lower toxicity. I heard you mention you got out of your chamber this morning, and wow, you were detoxing big time.
That was actually yesterday. I didn't get a chance to go in as long today, but I get in there for 2 hours, and what I do is I was researching for the show and putting links across to my email so I wouldn't lose them. And then I did email responses, and I find when you're in the chamber, your brain works about 300% better. When you do exercise, let's say, after you've been in the chamber, you're able to exercise a lot more vigorously because you got perfused tissues that are detoxing. And if you had toxic chemicals literally coming out of your body, you can smell them in your sweat. It's weird. The toxins coming out. And by the way, this works for anybody. It doesn't matter if you're a person on dialysis and you need to detoxify because your dialysis is going to load you up with bisphenol A and other toxic chemicals from the plastics. So anybody that's on dialysis must be getting infrared sauna. But if you, get hyperbaric oxygen, and if you are loading up with toxins from just exercise, lactic acid, ammonia, etc., getting mild hyperbaric oxygen is going to perfuse your brain better, turn off inflammation in your joints. Let's say you have ankylosing spondylitis or rheumatoid arthritis or colitis. Autoimmune diseases respond. And if you've got cancer, whether you're using conventional therapy, which I don't agree with, or you're using alternative therapies like Laetrile, hyperthermic treatments, other nutritional therapies to try to fight cancer, like our whole system of nutraceuticals, you do better, significantly better, if you're getting mild hyperbaric oxygen. So you can use magnetic field, infrared, and hyperbaric augmentation to fight cancer, and you have a better response if you're getting mild hyperbaric oxygen. So there is no health condition that I can think of, from a concussion to balding to sore joints to heart failure to anything, where mild hyperbaric oxygen can't help. There really is no health condition that this will not help.
Yeah, and Bill, I think I've heard you say that an acid state helps the cancer grow.
Yeah, exactly.
Where an alkaline state helps kill it. What happens if your body's running on low oxygen?
Well, it's immediately acid, and as soon as you go into a hyperbaric chamber, you become immediately alkaline. immediately alkaline within minutes. And by the way, if you could do what I call a acidity scan, let's say you could do it, use your imagination. I called your imaginometer. If you could use your imagination, you could visualize, you could probably take a picture of someone's pH or electron density would be a better way. And I visualized this and talked to one of my radiology buddies up in Los Angeles 4 years ago. He said that would be a really good idea if you could do that. You could actually do a scan that would actually pick up not only the pH of tissues, but the electron density, and then also pick up the spectral pattern of the molecules and solutions and see intermediates. If you could just look at even at pH, you'd see big black holes in someone that indicates that they have the areas of very high acidity. Those areas are the same areas that are going to have inflammation, stealth pathogens, heavy metals, toxic chemicals, abnormal DNA adducts, bad things happening so the stem cells aren't working to repair the tissue, tensile strengths of tissue breaking down, so you're eventually going to get ruptures, formation of free radicals causing plaque and loss of neurological function, vascular function, etc. So if you could do a scan that would actually pick up acidity or decreased electron density, you'd see that as soon as you start doing hyperbaric oxygen, it's like taking an eraser and starting to erase those areas of hypoxia, acidosis, stealth pathogens, and toxins. You'd be taking an eraser and gradually wiping those out. That's what's neat. Are you still there?
Yes, I am.
I heard some sound in the background, so I thought maybe we lost our connection.
No, still here.
So does that make sense? Because I think that this whole idea of being an anti-inflammatory, anti-free radical stem cell activator, there's lots of proof now that it's the primary activator of stem cells. So if you take our stem cell activator solutions like Microdose, Mountain Red Velvet, Supernox, which releases growth hormone, vibrational exercise, which also helps growth hormone using mild hyperbaric oxygen, your stem cells are all energized to get off the freeway of your circulation, tunnel into the tissues, and start differentiating because now they're in an alkaline state with proper epigenetics and proper energetics, and the tissues are detoxified so you have the right soil ready to receive them. It makes a huge difference. So someone saying, I want to recover from chronic fatigue syndrome or this or that, and I recently had a request this morning. Someone said they wanted to have help to deal with CFS. Well, you can start off with simple things, antipathogenics and free radicals like Allicin Med and NutriDefense. But if you want the full deal, you need to try the whole protocol, and then you truly will heal your body.
And the only side effect is health.
That's a side effect, eh? That's a good side effect. I don't know if that's even a good term. It sounds negative for a side health effect. How's that? Solid health effect.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, a wellness boost effect.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bruce. Stay right there. We will give you a book for another time. And coming up in hour number 3, we're going to make it open lines on any topic, wellness included. 800-259-5791, 800-259-5791. We'll be back in just a moment for the hour 3 coming up.